Hey everybody, welcome back to Magboy Creations. Today we are going to do a Lego Star Wars TIE Fighter comparison video. That's right, we're going to look at the early 2015 TIE Advanced prototype versus the more recent Special Forces TIE Fighter. Now, even though both of these models are for the Galactic Empire, they are completely different in build, in size, in scale. It's just two totally separate spaceships. Now, on the left, you only got three characters, one of them being the Inquisitor, and that is the gentleman with the double-edged lightsaber. He is the individual that the prototype was designed for. Now, the prototype has the foldy wings on the side, and that is to give that particular TIE fighter more speed, but it is a single-seated TIE fighter. On the other hand, you have the First Order Special Forces TIE fighter on the right, which gives you your red hood look, and you also get 4 characters in that set. Now, compared to the minifigures, it's more to scale, I think, because the TIE fighter is a lot larger than the prototype. Now, with the vertical wings, it does tend to fly a bit slower than the prototype. However, for the first time in design, you have a 2-seated cockpit, one in the front and one in the rear. Now, we're going to take a look at the TIE Advanced prototype itself a little bit closer. I had folded the top hatch and the front hatch down so you can get a good look at where the Inquisitor sits. Now, this joystick does fold down to allow easy access. You can get at it through the front and the side. Again, it's a single cockpit. So let's close this front up and close the top down. Now, this on the top, mind you, is a printed tile. It is not a sticker. And in fact, there are a couple printed tiles, but those are actual stickers. So it does have a mix of both in the set. Now, it does stand pretty good. However, as I had mentioned, the wings do fold in on the top and the bottom. So if you push on a little bit, it will tend to wobble and fold up on you. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to fold these wings up like this. And we'll just lay it flat like so. Now, there are 2 missiles in the front. Those are spring-loaded. And what's really cool is in the back, there is a twisty mechanism right here that spins. And it is designed so that it will clip down here the missiles and fire them. You can see that black piece that just kind of swivels back and forth. And I'll give you a demonstration here. If you could see, I'm going to fire the left one. Boom! Right one. Boom! There it is. So that's pretty neat the way it fires. Now, there isn't any hidden compartments or doors you can open on the exterior of the aircraft. The wings do come off. They're kind of just attached right here. So if you wanted to have like a fight or something, you could pull it straight off like that. They're only held on by Technic posts, and you can have a a damaged wing if you wanted to play in the house and have a TIE fighter go down because it got shot or something like that. But other than that, I think it's a pretty cool design. I do like the way the wings fold in, and it's different than your traditional TIE fighters. Now let's take a look at the characters. So in this set, which is 75082, you get an Imperial officer dressed in tan, which is the traditional Empire officer garb from the past trilogy. You also have the TIE fighter pilot, which looks very similar to TIE fighter pilots of the past. And then you have a Inquisitor, which is a Jedi-ish individual, and his main purpose, in case you're not familiar with Star Wars Rebels, is he was hunting down the rogue Jedi. So obviously, if he was hunting them down, he would have had to have training himself in order to compete against the Jedi. And I do like his outfit. He's got the red shield across his eyes just to look evilish, to match his red saber, which is double-sided, by the way. And he's got the spikes on his shoulders. Now, I had removed the garb on the actual Inquisitor himself so you can get a good look at the printing of his outfit. And I also took the helmet off of our TIE pilot. Now, there is some unique printing on the Inquisitor shoulder pads. I'll bring them closer to the camera so you can make it out. Now, this is just some printing on the front, which is pretty neat. But what I mean by unique is that on the shoulder pad, There's even some Empire symbols on the shoulder pad, which is cool. And then in the back, right, you also have a clip to put his double-edged lightsaber. You can take the red posts out and then just put the actual clip to his lightsaber there. And then there's printing on the shoulder pad on the other side as well. Now, I'm going to show you the helmet, which is pretty neat because this even has matching printing on the side of the helmet. You can see there a little bit comes across, and then you have the red visor in the front with a small breather, almost like a dirt bike helmet, but there's no printing on the back or the other side of the helmet. So there's just a little bit, but I do like the detail that they were able to do on the helmet. Now, the Inquisitor himself is pure white. It almost looks like Darth Vader did at the end of Episode 6 when he took his helmet off. His skin was just white. And he's got some blood maybe dripping from his eyes or cuts, maybe some scars, almost like Darth Vader. So it's a pretty cool transition between what Vader was and this is. He does have a little bit of resemblance as far as the top of his torso. When you remove the shoulder pads, it's a similar pattern that's at the top around the neck. But then it goes into a grayish pattern with some vertical stripes, and then obviously down his sides and the rest of his garb. But I do like the printing on that minifigure. And then we have, for the TIE pilot, a typical clone face. So when you make the transition from the Clone Wars and episodes 1, 2, and 3 into the original trilogy, they kind of carried that face print over into Star Wars Rebels as well. And those TIE fighter pilots, which are very similar in outfit design as our original TIE fighter pilot printed minifigures, the face is a little bit different. Now, this is technically a new character, a new TIE fighter character. At least it says that on the box, but the printing is very, very similar. Now, he does have on the front of his helmet the Empire emblems that we saw on the shoulder pads of the Inquisitor. And he's got the lights and the gauges on the front of his chest, like the typical TIE fighter pilot flight suits. And then, again, if we look at the Imperial officer, he's got the hat, a little bit of printing on the hat, and then the bars, the red and the blue bars on his chest to resemble maybe years of service or rank of something of that nature, and then a utility belt with his tan outfit. The backside of each of our minifigures does have printing. The Inquisitor's wrap carries around, and it almost looks like a hoodie, but that's just kind of the back of his outfit. And then our TIE pilot has the rest of his flight suit, top or vest, and then we have some design lines in the back of our officer. Both our TIE pilot and Imperial officer come with single-handed weapons, and of course the Inquisitor had his double-edged lightsaber. So now let's transition over to our First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter, look at that in a little bit more detail, and the characters that come with that set. So on our Special Forces TIE Fighter, the sheer size of it is just massive, much bigger than the prototype. I have the top canopy open and the front shield folded down, and what you see in the front is identical to the back. We'll flip it around and you can take a look for yourself, but take my word for it. Again, we have the controls that do flip down so that it's ease of use to get your fingers in there and put a character. So I'll close the front and I'll close the top. Now this is just something that goes up and down. This is just a radar antenna, or it could be something. I don't think it's a weapon. I think it's just some sort of communication device. Because just like our prototype, right here in the front, here are our two spring-loaded missiles. And then if you notice underneath, we also have a cannon which shoots the lasers. And these wings, even though they are very sturdy, they do come off quite easy. So again, you could have a damaged TIE fighter in play if you wanted to do that. And they just go right into those clips. So it's easy to take apart. And in case you're worried about lining them up, these white edges fit perfectly right into the square peg there. So it's not hard to put it together. And they snap on pretty good. So let's look at the back side, we have the controls right here, and you could put your rear pilot in the back. Now, there isn't a fancy device where you twist and it launches your spring-loaded missiles. The butts are right here that stick out, and all you simply do is just give them a push, and they'll fire off like that. We'll fire the other one too. And I do like this model, I think, a little bit more than the prototype, simply because I'm a traditionalist, and I like change, even though this was so iconic from when I was a boy. That I love the design. I mean, the wings and the makeup of this. It's just, to me, it's Star Wars. Yeah, I know that the other prototype is from Rebels, and it's a cartoon series, which is a spin-off of the actual episodes that had come out in the movies. But if I had to pick, I think that I would prefer the Special Forces TIE Fighter more. You do get 4 characters in this build. As I had mentioned, this is the first time you'll see a double-seated cockpit on a TIE fighter, hence the extra character. So you have the outside characters are your first-order TIE fighter pilots. In the center, you'll have a first-order officer in gray clothing, and you'll also have a first-order crew member. Now, the crew member is very plain, limited printing, and when you put the helmet on, it's total blackout. You can't see any of his regular skin-colored face, and you can't see through the front shield. It's completely blacked out, and he comes with a weapon accessory. Now, the officer, on the other hand, does have a bit of color. He's a light brown character with some defined face features. He does have a similar emblem as we've seen on the Inquisitor from the TIE prototype model that is on the center of his cap. It's a bit different of a cap design, and he does have a black brim on the cap, so it's multicolored. And I do like the new outfit, the gray outfit with his belt. I think the designs on the torso are a bit different. It almost looks like he's carrying pens or some kind of pocket protector with some things slid in there. But in this particular era of the Empire, that's just a design feature to show his rank or something of that nature. Now, what's intriguing to me is the First Order TIE Fighter pilots. Now, the printing on the torsos varies quite a bit from our traditional TIE Fighter pilots. The helmet, even though has similar features, does have a new feature, and that is the breathing tube that connects to the flight suit. It actually is attached as part of the helmet. On the left-hand side, I have the helmet off one of our pilots just to demonstrate that it does come as an extension, and that's all one molded piece. Now, the face, unfortunately, again, is a clone reuse, and we've seen that face over and over, and each pilot does come with a weapon accessory. The only individual without some sort of accessory is our officer. So from the back, we do have printing that carries all the way around. Our pilots on the outside do have some printing, and you'll see the traditional ones and zeros, or O and II, which is equivalent of Stormtrooper type setups, which is a neat design. That wasn't on our TIE Fighter pilots before, so we're starting to bridge the gap. You're going to see some traditional emblems and references brought forth into some of the new garb, but still there to resemble the Empire. And our crew member, again, in all black with some striping on the backside of his torso. And our officer just has some wearage lines in the back of his top torso as well. So one last look at the two TIE fighters side by side. The Inquisitor is sitting in his cockpit. The TIE pilots from the Special Forces are sitting in their cockpit. And they're both ready to go out and hunt down some rebels. I would have to say, in a fight, I think the Special Forces TIE Fighter would win, simply because you have another set of eyes in the back of you and a more advanced weapon system. We hope you enjoyed the review. Leave us a like and give us some comments. Let us know which TIE Fighter you like. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. We hope you stick around and cruise our channel. As always, we encourage you to share our content with your family and friends. You can check out our other social media sites and join us on Twitter, Instagram, Google+, or even now Twitch TV. and visit our Facebook page for more information. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to everybody in our next video.